Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. I'm very excited to have Aaliyah Covino with us today, owner and instructor of Body Politic. I checked on your last name. I didn't check on the word politic because it has a really funky, cool spelling.
Yes, it does.
But I got it right.
You did. You nailed it.
It shouldn't be that hard. There's just one letter that changed.
You'd be surprised, though.
I'm sure. Well, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So excited to have you. So we've got up to 45 minutes to have a conversation about you and your business. And we always like to have folks start off by simply introducing themselves and tell us why this particular business. And then we'll just do a deep dive after that.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Aaliyah Covino. Like you said, I am a fairly new resident here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I moved out here about 2 years ago from Chicago. I was teaching full-time fitness there and always wanted to open a fitness studio, just seemed very daunting and didn't really take it too seriously until about 2 years ago. So I moved out here to do that. And here I am talking to you, and we're approaching the opening date, which is going to be this Saturday.
This Saturday.
It is, yes.
That's exciting. Is there a time that you're doing a kind of a launch and a celebration? Or
Yeah, so we're doing 2 classes on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. and 9 a.m.
Okay, good to know. So this is perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing.
So tell us why this studio, why Body Politic, and how is it different? What's unique and why would it make sense for people to become a member? I'm assuming it's a membership.
It's definitely a membership, but you can also drop in. So if you don't know quite yet if this is the workout that you want to do, you can absolutely try it with no commitment. So what it is, it's 2 different fitness programs. One of them is called Legree, which is best described as a strength training workout. So it's similar. There are similarities to Pilates, which it gets confused for quite a bit, but we try to steer clear from comparing it to Pilates because it's a little bit of a higher intensity workout, better describes as strength training on a big machine called the Megaformer. And then the second program that we're going to be launching in January is called VersaClimber Fitness. So it's on a vertical climber that's stationary, similar to cycling, but you're using your full body and you're climbing. And you're going to the beat of the music. It's dark. There's great lights, great music. It's loud. Really, really fun workout, cardio class.
And you have been instructor for both in the past?
So I have. So I was teaching Legree in Chicago for a little over 7 years. So I've been teaching that for a while. VersaClimber, I have not taught it in front of like a public audience before, but I am certified to teach it. Prior to that, I was teaching cycling for a long time. So there's a lot of similarities between the two.
And why VersaClimber instead of a cycle? A bike? Because it's the full body?
Great question. That's exactly why it is full body. I think it's more of a comprehensive workout.
Microphone while you're chatting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm leaning.
No, you're good. You're trying to follow Daryl's instructions, and I don't want to make it hard for you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's exactly why it's full body. It's a little bit more comprehensive than a cycling class, I think, because you are utilizing both your upper and lower bodies and your core, which is another focus in Legree. So I thought that those two complemented each other really well. And we don't have it here yet in Phoenix or Scottsdale. So I think with the avid hikers that are here, it was something that needed to be here.
Love it. And Legree, is that here in Arizona
It
already?
is,
And
yeah.
why have I never heard of it before?
Because there's not a lot of us yet. So this is going to be the 5th location in the Valley that offers Legree. With as many people that live here, that's not enough.
No.
It's such a cool workout, and I want to share it with as many people as possible.
And it does utilize a reformer.
It's actually called a Megaformer.
Megaformer.
Yeah.
Reformer would be a Pilates term.
Exactly.
But a Megaformer, which
Megaformer.
why you've emphasized the strength piece of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Mega meaning like grander, bigger, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit bigger than the Reformer. Similarities, but definitely differences too. There's heavier springs that you can use. So you can get a little bit of more intense workout for your upper body, for your legs. That's why I think a lot of males gravitate towards it in addition to females. We know in group fitness that females are the primary user, but a lot of men also gravitate to Legree.
More and more I've noticed
Yeah.
in the group classes.
Yeah, that's true.
Where in Scottsdale are you located?
Right off the 101. It's on 90th Street and the 101. So if you take the exit for
Yeah.
90th Pima, we're right there. You could see us.
Are you so excited?
I'm stoked.
And are
I
you a
can't wait.
little freaked out too, or just mainly excited?
You know what? I think the freak out has been like happening over the last 2 years throughout the whole process. So I'm actually like kind of calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
exciting.
weird.
Why Arizona?
My family lives here.
Oh.
So I've been coming out here for a long time. My brother went to ASU. We're not originally from here, but they all relocated in the last 4 years, 5 years. I was living in Chicago at the time, and I knew I wanted to be close to them. And if I was going to do this, it was going to be a long-term thing. And I knew it needed to be nearby.
And can we say something about the warmer weather?
Yeah.
Is that appealing?
Very appealing.
Although I'm putting on my hat when I'm walking in the morning and doing my
Yes.
hikes, and I
Yes.
turned on my butt warmer in my car today. I'm like,
Me
oh, it's
too.
so cold.
I do the same thing, and my Chicago self is like really
Are you kidding me?
embarrassed.
Right? Yeah. But they say, right, our blood goes very warm.
Yeah.
What's the word? Warm
It
blood.
thins out.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It thins out. I've been here since '79, since I was going
Yeah.
into 8th grade. So I'm super
You're
adapted.
super thin.
Super thin blooded. I don't know about super thin.
You're both.
So I'm curious about your journey as just a healthy person,
Mhm.
and how did you get started becoming a fitness instructor? We've talked a little bit, of course, fitness instructor to, gosh, I want to own my own studio.
Yeah.
Tell us even further back.
Further back,
Yeah.
yeah. Funny, it was never in the plan. I always loved fitness. I was a student athlete. I had gym memberships as a young person and loved group classes, everything from like cycling to kickboxing. So I was an avid user for a long time. It wasn't until I walked into my first Legree class, which was a little over 7 years ago, thinking I was going to a Pilates class, very unassuming, and I loved it. Like, had no idea what just happened.
And you had done Pilates before?
I was an avid Pilates person.
Okay.
Yeah. I would take group classes. I would take private classes, all in the reformer. So I thought that's exactly what I was going to do. And I was like, whoa, what was that? I need more of it. And I became a client, was doing it for about 6 months until I got certified to teach. And it was very much a side hustle where I was teaching 2 classes a week. But I loved it so much that it was very natural to fall into teaching more and teaching more. So that side hustle then turned into a full-blown, full-time career where I was teaching like 15 plus classes
Wow.
prior to the pandemic a week. So yeah, that side hustle was
Yeah.
no longer a side hustle. So I was teaching quite a bit.
And as a young athlete, what were your sports?
I played field hockey and softball.
Really?
So
I would not have picked either of
No?
those sports.
Really?
No. I don't know why. That's amazing.
Yeah. I almost went to college for field hockey, and I didn't because I wanted to go to University of Miami, and there was no field hockey team. So I gave it up and went to Miami for school.
Fascinating. We had earlier today, our 11 o'clock show, we had an Olympic athlete, a female racquetball player.
Ooh.
And I said I didn't even know racquetball was still a thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
know at clubs, of course.
Yeah.
But today's the day with athletes,
Yeah.
professional athletes and
Sounds
business
like
owners.
it.
I love it. So I'm sorry, you've been here how long?
About 2 years.
2 years.
Mhm.
And you've been teaching as the same
Yeah.
time you've been planning to open?
Yeah. So what happened was I came out here with the intent to open the studio. I knew it was going to take a very long time, or at least it was shaping up to take a long
Yeah.
time. So in the meantime, I got something called a microformer, which is the same exact machine or I shouldn't say the same exact machine. It's a similar machine to what we have in the studio, the Megaformer, just smaller. So you can take it to an outdoor space, or you can travel with it anywhere that you'd like. So I bought 10 of those, and I was doing outdoor group classes here in beautiful sunny Phoenix, which is very conducive to doing outdoor classes all year round, something we couldn't do in Chicago. So I was doing that for a little bit, and then I was giving those machines to private clients, and I would go to their house and teach them a private Legree class on that machine. So over the last 2 years, that's predominantly what I've been doing while ramping up the studio and getting it
and
going.
building a community.
And building a community. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And building that Legree love. A lot of people that I see now had never taken a Legree class until meeting me. And now they're converts too.
Incredible. Who is, you've spoken a little bit about who it's best intended for, like the hikers, as far as the
climbing.
this climbing what
Yeah.
is it called again?
Versa climber.
Versa climber.
Yeah.
I'll get this right. Who really is body politic? Who are you? Is there a target member? And if so, speak to that.
Yeah. So the beauty of these two workouts is that they're both low impact, higher intensity. So it's almost for everybody. So if you have injuries, something that prevents you from doing other exercises, especially HIIT or like boot camp or harder workouts on your body, this is a little bit kinder. So we're going really slow in Legree, and the machine has tension to it where it facilitates a lot of these moves, like a lunge or squat. You have a little bit more support than if you were doing it just on the floor. The same thing with the Versa climber. So we're doing a very innate movement that the body already does, crawling or walking, where we're working contralaterally. So your arms and legs are going in opposite motions. So it's also very low impact, where it's not like you're pounding on the treadmill or pounding on the pavement running. And really, like, the community that I want to reach out to are the people that missed group fitness during the pandemic. I felt like over the 2 years, or it turned out to be about 2 years, right, where a lot of stuff was shut down or a lot of stuff was spaced out and we weren't able to congregate in places and do what we were doing before. People that crave that community and want to move together with other people.
It's a lifestyle.
It is, yes.
It comes friendships. We obviously already mentioned community as well. Can you speak to the need for low impact for some people, right? Not everybody understands why that's important. And again, it's not for everybody, but why are those two important things, or why is that an important thing for you?
Longevity. There's a lot of activities. I mean, as an athlete, I've seen what happened to my body doing certain things, certain motions. And I have lasting injuries from some of those things, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yep.
So low impact's really important because we want our body to continue to be able to do these things that we're doing now. And I truly believe that both these workouts are two of those. They're made for that exactly. And I think also we want to train our bodies for everyday life, right? So like what we're doing in studio isn't just, you could be a fitness fan and that's it for you. Taking that class is what makes you happy. But I truly believe that we want to do that to preserve all the stuff that we do outside that room too. And very important for it all to be low impact.
Yeah. A specific age range? Does it?
I think both these workouts would be appealing to someone between 25, 45. That's at least what we see as our demographic in both of them. But I have clients who are in their 60s.
I can see that. Yes. Those of us that are not quite 60 yet, but darn close.
Yeah.
I can see how it would be very appealing to be involved in a community like that. And of course, the low impact and yet strength. Opportunity to build and to climb.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And they're both core centric, which is so important, right? As we age, I think what's natural that happens is back injuries, right? So,
and what's the term? Muffin tops, little beer bellies.
Yeah, exactly.
Or big beer bellies.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, there's few exercises that really target that area in a very effective way, and both of these will do that
instead of having to do these endless amounts of sit-ups,
exactly, which are no fun.
No, and some neck issues, and that, I know for me, I don't do sit-ups really well.
No,
I like doing core strength, and I need to.
Yeah,
but the old standard sit-up has never been something.
Yeah, and it's not so effective, right?
No, that's what I understand. My
target
trainer,
other muscles better.
Yes, it's not just one muscle in the butt area, the belly area,
exactly,
and the gut. There's
quite a few,
plenty.
Yeah,
and so both these machines and these classes will help shape that whole area.
Absolutely, yeah. And what's beautiful about Legree is that we work the transverse abdominis, which is the deepest layer of your core. So you're getting full benefits. It's not just for the aesthetic, it's for
Strength.
life. Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Talk to us a little bit about what it's like to have prepared for 2 years and clearly even before that. But what is it like to be getting ready to say, I own a brick and mortar business?
Yeah.
And what has that journey been like for you?
It feels good to be able to say that finally we're opening, because it's been quite the journey for the last 2 years. I mean, I started this journey in the middle of a pandemic, which is not the easiest time to start a fitness studio or a business, mind you, when a lot of them are shut down. So it was quite the ride. I think what was really helpful in the very beginning was I did two things. The first one was I named the business. So I had gotten the idea. I had come out to Phoenix to visit my family in the middle of the pandemic. I, at the time, was furloughed from my 3 jobs that I was working at the time. So I had a lot of time to sit and reflect and decide what was going to happen post-pandemic, or at least how I wanted that to look. And I wasn't quite sure what that was going to look like until I came to Phoenix to visit my family, and I started thinking about what it would be like to bring this concept to Phoenix and Scottsdale. I thought that it was missing from the fitness landscape here, and I thought it would do really well. So I, just playing around, started talking about this with my family, and one of the first things was, okay, if you did do this, what would you call it? And that name, Body Politic, came pretty quickly. Yeah. And it was almost like, maybe there's something to this. And having the name and having it actually have like a identity made it a little bit easier to take the next step. And then the next step was, which seems maybe now kind of backwards, was I started scouting out locations just kind of for fun too, to say, all right, what would this look like in true form? So I had hired a broker that week that I was visiting, and we went and scouted out some locations. And it still seemed like so surreal at the time, but I had found a location that I just fell in love with. And this is, mind you, like before I had money to do it. I didn't even know if I could. Found this amazing location, and then I could truly visualize the whole thing. So that really lit a fire underneath me, because I knew that this location wasn't going to be around forever. There was going to be competition, and someone else might come in and swoop in and take it from me. So that lit the fire for me to then go back to Chicago, pack up my stuff, and really explore it, and come out here and start that exploratory phase.
Can I ask about funding? And
yeah,
you said this was before you had money. So
yeah, absolutely.
Did that just drop out of the sky in a parachute, or how'd that happen?
No. I had to write a business plan and submit it to lenders and ask for a substantial loan to do this. Yeah. So I had some money saved up, but not nearly enough to start something on this scale. So I had to write a business plan, a very thorough one that was going to explain exactly how I was going to do this, show that I had done my market research, which I had. This is something I think that I've been doing market research for over the last 7 years. I would fly to different cities, take classes at all these different Legree and VersaClimber and other fitness studios, and see what they were doing, what I liked, what I didn't like, learning about the workouts, the instructors, the successful studios, and what they were doing right.
And you did that from a perspective that you want to open your own business someday, or were you doing it as an influencer, a combination?
I guess back then there was always that idea that I wanted to do this, but it was a pipe dream, right? Yeah. So I think on some sort of level it was with the intent to potentially do this one day, but not so seriously. It was just kind of like, I'm just really passionate about this. This is what I want to do, and spend how I want to spend my time.
And am I making an assumption that you are an influencer when it comes to, I was thinking Instagram, TikTok. Have you put yourself out there then these last several years as an instructor?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a influencer, but I think that on some level, I've been teaching now for, like I said, a little over 7 years. and I do feel like I have command in this subject. So I
Therefore, you're an influencer. No, a true influencer never wants to call themselves an influencer. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
You have a following. People are
Mhm.
curious. They're learning
Yeah.
from you. They're celebrating you. They're thanking you for
Mhm.
changing their lives.
Yeah.
You are an influencer.
Okay. I'll
And
take that.
yeah, marry that with social media. We're good to go. Yeah, very good. Very exciting. Any great challenges or pitfalls that you had to come? I mean, it sounds like, writing the business plan was something that you had to jump into.
Yeah, that was challenging for
Yeah.
sure.
Anything else though that
Yeah. There was many.
Uh-huh,
Where do we start? I think the greatest challenge, if I think back to the very beginning, was telling other people about the idea and overcoming that fear of what they might think, and having it judged. And I think when your ideas are in their infancy like that, that's when they're the most vulnerable,
Yes.
and you might second guess or doubt yourself. So I think that was the biggest challenge, especially initially, because you are not sure if this is the right thing to do. So that, and then lucky for me, I have a very supportive family, and they were my biggest cheerleaders. And without them, I don't know if I'd be here right now.
Yeah. Any naysayers? And not necessarily family, but
Yes.
I know when we share ideas, especially when they're intimate ones and,
Yeah.
we really haven't fleshed them out yet.
Mhm.
If we give that idea to somebody and put them in the wrong hands,
Yes.
in fact, I wrote a children's story that published in 2010. And it's all around personal love and acceptance.
Cool.
Imagine that. And I read it to my mom over the phone. And I knew as I was saying to her, we didn't have a great relationship. As I was saying it out loud, hey, I wrote this book and I'm getting ready to publish it. Would you like to hear it? It was a short picture book. So very brief story. And as soon as those words were coming out of my mouth, I thought, oh, you are going to regret this. But they were already out. I'm like, well, I must have said it for a reason. She said, sure. And so with the greatest read aloud voice that I could, I grabbed my little manuscript thing and I read it, and there was this long pause, and my mom's response was, "Oh, so now you think you're a children's author?"
Ouch.
And this story of love and acceptance went back into the drawer for another, 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I was crushed. I left myself open. I've learned, of course, since then, who to share ideas with and to armor myself when I share ideas with people who may not be on the same page with me. But anyway, that's my experience.
Yeah, you're
Did you
protective.
have anybody either that you knew well or that you didn't know that went, you can't do this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or maybe competitive and said, stay off our turf.
You know what? Coming from Chicago, the people I did share it with, I think I was very selective. I had a great mentor. The woman I work for in Chicago who had owned the Legree studio that I was an instructor at, she was wonderful and very instrumental and a good person to bounce this off of because she had gone through it. So I think that was helpful. I had shared it with her. But other than that, there was very few people. I did want to protect it, and I knew that was going to be a fear of mine, is having someone like your mom that would say something that would set me off course, right?
Yes. Good for you. So you were protected from the beginning and knew who and when to share that with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell us again the location. Do you offhand know the address?
Yeah, of course. It's 8870 North 90th Street in Scottsdale. So right off the 101, super easy to get to. You'll see us off the highway. Brand new plaza, so it's fun. We have great neighbors. There's a Black Rock Coffee, a Playa Bowl, which is an acai bowl, and juice bar.
Oh, perfect supportive environment.
Yes, we have a nail salon right next door, so you can make a day of it.
Yes, so good. And you're on Facebook as Body Politic with a K.
Correct.
Studio, Body Politic Studio. Instagram as well, Body Politic Studio. And your personal Instagram is?
Aaliyah Covino, just my name.
Super easy.
Super easy.
Aaliyah Covino. Super exciting. What does one wear to a class like this?
Your cutest athleisure wear.
Very good. It's kind of a no-brainer.
You might get photographed. No, yeah. So it's workout clothes, come comfy, get ready to move around, and definitely sweats. Grip socks if you're doing Legree, sneakers if you're doing VersaClimber.
And how many people can each class handle?
12.
Oh, that's
so
perfect.
We have 12 machines in both.
And so you mentioned drop-in is fine.
Drop-in, I'm sorry, is
so it's membership based,
yes.
but somebody can also either. What would they have to, probably with 12 spots, they'd have to see if there's an opening?
Yeah, you would probably want to book it
Yes.
beforehand because
That's why
12
that's why I
spots is
stopped
limited.
myself with drop in. I'm like, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah. So we do two things. We offer monthly unlimited memberships where you can pay a certain price and you can come as many times as you want. For our pre-opening, we were actually offering it at a pretty nice discount for the entire year. So if you bought a membership for $200 rather than the regular $230, you can lock in that price for an entire year. We're going to extend that until December 1st. So people still have time to get that. If you're not sold that you know that this is the workout for you and you just want to try it out, we're doing $15 drop-ins for the entire month of November. So the class is usually $30, but it's going to be
that's substantial,
15.
50% off.
Yes, 50% off.
Between now and
until December 1st as
December
well.
1st. So this is really the time to come and get a feel for it.
This is the time, yes.
When in your Chicago experience, and you may not know this, not having owned the business, but do you know how far people would travel to come to a class? I know people, if they love a gym and they've moved, or it has a great reputation, they'll travel miles to go and have that workout.
They will. We had people that would come in from the suburbs of Chicago, like talking 50 miles to take a class just because they didn't have a studio by them or they loved our studio so much. And I know I'm like that. I'll trek it across town to take my favorite instructor's class. So I foresee that also happening here. I know we're a little bit married to our bubbles here in Phoenix. People kind of
I'm married to my bubble.
stay in their neighborhoods. But we're close to McCormick, Gainey Ranch, Fountain Hills, that area.
Still, within a great distance. I mean, a close distance for those folks to come and participate with you.
Yeah.
And I think the two locations you mentioned, those folks are very transient and happy to travel for good quality experiences.
Yeah, I think so too.
So good. Tell us a little bit about the early years you as a little girl. Did you ever think that you'd own your own business? Have you had the entrepreneur spirit in you all along? You mentioned, at least when you were instructor and traveling and getting a feel for how people were running their studios and how people were doing their instruction during classes.
Yeah.
That idea was back there. But how about even earlier than that? Maybe junior high, high school, maybe even grade school. Did you know what you wanted to be back then?
I did. Back then, I wanted to be, or I thought I wanted to be international attorney. So that's actually what I went to school for. So a little different. Now looking back, I kind of wish I threw in some business classes, but I did. I went to law school. So I took the bar in Florida and in Illinois, and I was practicing for a very brief amount of time. I was doing mostly international human rights law. I did some immigration law when I lived in Miami, and then more recently family law when I was in Chicago. So something completely different than business.
Sure. And that's when you were doing some fitness on the side as an instructor. And I was like, oh, I like this better.
Exactly.
I'm helping people in a very different way.
Exactly. And it was funny because in the time of the pandemic, I hadn't been practicing for a long time. I felt a little guilty about it. And I thought, okay, maybe this is the time where I re-up my continuing education classes and I start pursuing law as a career. But I didn't have that same fire or excitement to do that as when I got the idea to open the studio. So that, no, being an entrepreneur or business owner wasn't in the plan, but it's funny. If I think back to it, I was listening to podcasts about very similar to this one about entrepreneurs and their journey. And I think that was part of the reason why I had the courage to do it, because I would hear their stories and say like, they're very similar to me. They had all these fears about failing and all these obstacles to overcome, but the only difference is that they went for it.
It's so funny. I just posted this the other day. Let me see if I can pull it up. A saying just like that, and it's resonated with them. There are people less qualified than you doing the things you want to do simply because they decide to believe in themselves. Period.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And once we get to like, you know what? Okay, there's no reason I can't stay attached to my dream and see it through to fruition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And there was proof in that. So when I started those little baby steps in the very beginning, just like thinking of the name or creating the LLC or looking for this space, I felt like all those little actionary steps then amounted to something much bigger, right? So it was just a matter of taking that first step.
Yep.
And then each one snowballed.
If I can tag on to that, I think the way I see that is you gave yourself pieces of evidence that this could really work.
Right.
And our mind attaches to whatever we're feeding it. So
Yeah.
if we're giving it evidence that this isn't going to work, my mom says, so now you think your children's author. I went, oh, she must be right. Stuck
Right.
it in the drawer.
Yeah.
Instead, you are attaching yourself to evidence that says, oh, this is legit.
Yes.
This is real.
Yeah.
And so it's a choice, really.
It's true.
Yes, I have finally learned that after all these years.
Isn't that amazing,
It
right?
is.
You can attach yourself to the fear of all the potential outcomes,
Whatever it is.
i.e. failing, or what people might think of you, or you can attach it to it actually working out. And why not you?
Right. Yeah, some of the great success stories about people, having command over their body and falling in love with their body and getting in shape is so inspirational. And for you as an instructor, I'm sure that's got to be amazing to know that you've helped somebody do that. And
that's the joy. That's where the fun is in all this, is seeing someone not only like see their body change, but these 2 workouts, they're hard. They're no joke. So I feel like you come in, you take a class and you do something this hard, but that's still attainable. You relate it to your outside life and you say, you know what, I did that hard thing this morning or last night. I can do anything in my day to day.
Absolutely. Are you fully staffed? Are you looking for additional instructors? I mean,
we're
of course
always
you'll
looking.
grow.
Yeah. So we're actually in like the beginning stages. So we have a small team, but I'm being selective with who we take on. So we're definitely looking for both Legree and climbing instructors. So if you know any, let me know. We do train too. So if you're not certified, we do train.
Very good. What have I not thought to ask that you want to make sure our listeners and our viewers are aware of?
I just hope that everyone that's in the area that's curious about this comes out to try a class. I know it's kind of daunting, a new workout that maybe you don't know much about. But I hope that we see you, whether it's this weekend on Saturday or on our opening day or sometime in the very near future.
So good. 9 and 11 are the classes?
8 and 9.
Oh, it's an
early crowd here in Phoenix.
Yes, for sure. I'm one of those people. I'm up by 4:30 before the sun these days.
Are you?
Yes. I already have my workout in before my son gets up. Yeah. I'm just wired to have all the years of swimming and doing dance in high school and college. It's like it's just now ingrained in me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to not turn it off. Yes.
Yeah. Well, one day we might add on to that. Maybe a 10 and 11 a.m.
So right now, 8 and 9.
8 and 9 over the weekends.
And on Saturday, this Saturday is the opening, which is Saturday the
12th.
The 12th. For those, this will be a podcast, of course, after the live broadcast. So I want to make sure that people who are listening this after knows you're already open.
Yes.
And they ought to get to the website to register ahead of time.
They can, yes.
And take advantage of the 50% off for the monthly.
So the 50% off is on the drop-ins. And then they can also snag that unlimited membership at a discount there as well.
Price. And the website for Body Politic itself is
body-politic.com.
Super easy. Aaliyah, it's been great to get to know you.
Thank you. It's been great to be here.
And
thanks for having me.
I have a commitment already on Saturday morning. However, the following week, I would like to come out and drop in.
I would love that.
And take a class.
Would love that.
Have you kick my butt?
Yes,
looking forward to it. You've been listening to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from Max 6 Entrepreneur Center right here in Tempe, Arizona. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business. Until next time, I'm Karen Nowicki. Thanks for listening.